The following is a special presentation of Extreme eSpeed TV, your new home for everything iRacing and eSpeed.
Want to have a one-stop shop. They need us for now all these different services, not just the heating and air side.
When things are going wrong, you want the company that's going to be able to get things done as fast as possible for you.
Today we're going to be in over 600 homes. What the customers can count on is we're going to send a competent person to your home with a vehicle that's stocked and prepared. We're going to do what's right.
Right now, we're waiving our $79 service fee with any Coolray, Brightbox, or Mr. Plumber service.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to night number 1 of Coolray Winternationals from Volusia Speedway Park. I'm Adam Johnson, happy to be joined alongside for the first time this season, Mr. John Foskey. He's raced, and now he wants to try his hand in the booth. So we're excited to have John for night number 1 of the Winter Nationals. And John, you've been in this driver's seat before. You've been in this situation. How exciting are the hot laps, is the pre-race for these drivers as they get set for really what's going to be a marathon week?
Oh, it's really exciting. I mean, you have 3 days worth of action coming up here tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Last year, when I was racing with these guys, it was really fun. The competition is stout, and I see we even have more competition this year. It's going to take time to learn these guys, see how fast they are. And I'm sure everyone's fast to be in this league, but I'm excited to watch and have a different perspective on tonight and have fun.
Absolutely, and it is indeed going to be a fun night. And you talked about some of the new guys in this league. How many, I mean, you've had a chance hopefully to look at some of the roster. How many of these have you raced with in the past, whether it be all of them, or are some of them also going to be kind of some newcomers to you as you watch this season?
I've seen a couple of them around. I've seen Caleb Ramsey and Tyler Bowman. I've saw them here a couple times. Some of these other guys, I'll have to watch them through the night. I watched some of them in practice. They all look pretty fast. Really, the whole field's fast. Everybody's within 2/10 of each other, so should be a good night, and I'm excited to see what these guys can do.
Absolutely. We'll dive into it a little bit more, even more pre-race, and as we get through Houston Guttering time trials. But kind of giving us a preview, what's so unique about Volusia Speedway Park, and why the guys love coming back here for not only each season, but a few times in a row? What makes this track so special or different?
In my opinion, it's really a driver's track. You see a lot of drivers say the short tracks, like your Fairbury, your I-55, they say that's a driver's track. But this place is so big, it's so wide, and the biggest key here is keeping your car straight and throttle control, and that's the biggest key in going fast in a race car is driving and your throttle control. And you'll see a lot of guys here, they'll throw the car off in the corner, get it sideways, and they'll just scrub off so much time. And any other track could be really fast, but here you got to be on point, keep your car straight, and make good moves at the right time. The track changes a lot throughout the night. Like right now, it's still got a lot of speed in it. You're going to see a lot of fast times here in qualifying. And during the heat races and feature, you'll see it start slowing down, and it'll be more maneuverable.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to see that play out tonight. Watch how the track shifts as we get a lot more action on it. So, looking at some of our fastest times right now, we have Austin McGlone in that 1:41 machine. Got the best time in hot laps with a 15.85. Behind him, both Brett Carlton and Brian Voiles, both with a 15.9 flat. Aiden Young, 15.91, as well as Jacob Lassiter and Colin Voiles. So a lot of familiar names from last season in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, putting down some quick times, as I see Tater just hopping in there also with the 15.91. So very even racing right now. I know the track's going to change up a little bit, and we're going to take a quick break before getting to Houston Guttering time trials. So settle in. Get set, tune in, drop a comment in the YouTube chat if you'd like to let us know who your prediction is to win. And we'll be back in just a moment here on Extreme eSpeed TV.
Dyer Trucking in Mohawk, Tennessee is family owned and operated, and their main goal is to always please their customers and deliver their freight in a timely manner. If you need it hauled and you're in East Tennessee, the number you need is 423-393-4229. That's 423-393-4229. Dyer Trucking's also on Facebook. Pick up the phone and give Brad and his family a call today. Dyer Trucking. If you need it, they can get it. Find them on Facebook.
Racers, get the most horsepower from your great engine with Pro Fabrication headers and exhaust. Profabrication Headers and Exhaust is an official partner of the American Crate All-Star Series and used by winning racers such as Dylan Brown, Logan Robertson, Carson Ferguson, Christian Hanger, Cody Overton, and Eli Beats. Profabrication Headers and Exhaust, just a click of a mouse away at profabrication.com. Quality that wins. Get yours at profabrication.com.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
.07 Tire and Service Center is your one-stop shop for all your car care needs, and they're now a Cooper Tire dealer. American tires for the American worker. Buy a set of Cooper tires and get free tire rotation and repairs for the life of the tire. They have a 12,000-mile or 12-month warranty on most repairs. Check out 107 Tire and Service Center. They're located at 6256 Irwin Highway, Chuckey, or call them at 423-620-4970. For all your car care needs, 107 Tire and Service Center. Family owned and operated. And their number one goal is your satisfaction. Find 107 Tire and Service Center on Facebook or call them today at 423-620-4970.
People want to have a one-stop shop. They need us for now all these different services, not just the heating and air side.
When things are going wrong, you want the company that's going to be able to get things done as fast as possible for you.
Today, we're going to be in over 600 homes. What the customers can count on is we're going to send a competent person to your home with a vehicle that's stocked and prepared. We're going to do what's right.
Right now, we're waiving our $79 service fee with any Coolray, Brightbox, or Mr. Plumber service.
And welcome back, everybody, to Volusia Speedway Park for night number 1 of Coolray Winternationals. I am Adam Johnson, joined alongside John Foskey as the drivers are gearing up. I believe they're in their drivers' meeting now, preparing for Houston Guttering time trials. And last week, it was a great opportunity to see that speed that we were so used to last year from both Dylan Perry, Austin McGlone, even Tater Williamson. And I'm excited to see what they can put on display here tonight. When we look at the best time so far, we've got Dylan Perry with a 15.82, and just barely behind him is Austin McGlone with a 15.85. Austin, of course, putting up a great performance last week. Came up a little bit short after being involved in a caution, but nonetheless, proving to be a factor once again this season in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. And as we get the guys all set and geared up in the driver's meet, and I want to cover a few things from Adam's notebook tonight. Of course, we have the 4th annual Icebreaker 100. This is a reminder for you all. The news is already out there, but December 19th and 20th, Cedar Lake Speedway. Registration for that event is underway now, so just check out the Pro Late Model Dirt Series Discord for more details, or check out the Facebook page, and you have many ways to figure out how to get in touch with us if you want to get involved with that. Of course, we also have a few other events, some recruiting races, we might say, in some of our sanctioned events, and registration opens up 1 month prior to each of the following events. Of course, April 12th, the Heartbreaker at Limaland, $100 to win right there. Cold hard cash will be your first opportunity. That then meaning that March 12th is when things can begin to open up. We also have on June 7th the Love Our Troops 100 at Kokomo, $100 to win with the ASCA 360 Sprint Car Series. And then November 8th, the Early Bird 100 at Lucas Oil, $200 to win for that one, and the winner locks themselves into the Icebreaker. Other news that we've been excited to share with you, of course, the Bumblebee 33 at Bristol. Well, that is finally set. June 14th, the front-wheel drive Bang Bangers will get their shot to headline a show, and it will be at Bristol Motor Speedway. In fact, this event will feature the front-wheel drive Honda Civics, and that's something that is kind of a first of its kind for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series, in fact. So as we get set, I want you to know that Facebook.com/PLM Dirt Series is how you can connect with us. Same thing at PLM Dirt Series on Instagram, and the email plmdirtseries@gmail.com for more information. But as we're getting closer to Houston Guttering Time Trials, I'll give you a chance to look at some of the sights and sounds of Volusia Speedway Park way out in Barbersville, Florida. Of course, if you're joining us from across the nation, we're excited to showcase some of the best drivers in iRacing. And John Foskey, you've raced against a lot of these guys. Some of the fastest so far: Dylan Perry, Austin McGlone, Brett Carlton, Brian Voiles, Aiden Young. Those are names you're familiar with quite a bit. How hard is it to kind of keep up with some of these guys? I mean, we have some really good competition in this league.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody knows Perry, McGlone, Tater Williams, Jacob Lassiter. They're all really fast. A lot of these guys are really fast. It's just the competition's so close. It's hard to get to the front. I mean, if you start deep in the field, you have your work cut out for you to get back through there. Because these guys, I mean, they know how to get around the racetrack. They know how to wheel their cars. But one guy I would like to mention that doesn't get a lot of credit, and he's put in a lot of time and effort over the off season to get better, is Brett Carlton. Seeing he got a third place finish at Charlotte, and over the off season I actually watched him a couple times. He was at Volusia with a different sanctioned series and about got him a win there. So I'm looking for Brett to do really good tonight. I don't want to curse him. I know there's an announcer's curse. I don't want to put that on him, but I'm really hoping that he can get him a good finish again and keep that momentum rolling.
Absolutely. And, there really is no off season out. You guys are going year round, so we have a season that runs February to October possibly. But is this something that over the holidays? I mean, are you continuing to try and get in the rig, try and just get more reps in? Because it looks like practice makes for perfect for you guys.
Oh yeah, anytime you have a chance to get on here and test and tune, you need to take advantage of it. Especially in a league of this caliber. I mean, you see the guys week in and week out. I mean, it's stout, and everybody's really fast. So the more time you get on the racetrack, even if it's by yourself, just get out there, turn you a couple laps, just get the car dialed in, get yourself dialed in, focused, and you should be pretty fast. It's just putting in time and effort in to get there.
Awesome. Appreciate the insight tonight. This is going to be kind of a fun night together. Of course, if you want to chime in, we've got the YouTube. We've got Andy Piercefield chiming in. He's the first one to comment saying, "Welcome to the booth, John." I know Andy Piercefield, a guy that's beloved by many in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Isn't that right, John?
Oh yeah, Mr. Andy, he does a lot for this series. I raced with him last year, of course, and he's getting better also. There's another guy you need to look out for. I'm hoping he can get a couple top tens this year, and maybe even some top fives, and maybe even a win. You never know. Just hoping Andy has a good year this year.
Absolutely, and that was actually something Travis and I were talking about earlier today. Is Andy is improving leaps and bounds, but at the same time you're racing these same guys who are just getting as much practice, if not as more. So it can be kind of defeating when you get caught in a caution towards the end, and the end result doesn't look like what it's supposed to be. But all these guys are I mean, the competition is tight in this league. And it's exciting because really a week like this and a night like this is going to showcase 3 straight nights at one track and really kind of show you who is the cream of the cream in this league. But it wouldn't shock me if we see different guys in the top 5, especially that 3rd through 5th position, being different each night this week.
Oh yeah, and we got 3 nights of racing, so it's just more track time for these guys, and I look for them to be faster come Thursday. Some of the guys you'll see running towards the back tonight will be right up front Thursday night. That's usually how it goes. So I'm excited to look for this race and hopefully puts on a good show.
Awesome. Well, we are getting now into Houston Guttering time trials, working with some broadcast booth technical difficulties behind the scenes, trying to get you the full feed right now. We'll get you that here in a moment. As it looks like we have some drivers entering pit lane. Looks like they're still getting geared up to go out there. McGlone, Chapman, Spees, Johnson, and Early entering pit lane at the moment. We will share any action with you as soon as we get it.
I was about to say we have Austin McGlone with a 15.904, which is a good time. I'm looking maybe 8 the track's going to give in this qualifying session, but maybe it'll clean on up. It's really fast right now. I mean, 9 second or 15.9 around here is pretty good lap. So track should have a little bit more speed in it, but we'll see once these other guys come out.
Absolutely. Great start so far. It looks like Justin Thompson chiming in with hey, hey. Good to hear from you, Justin. And good to see on your screen right now the 72 of Zach Chapman out there out of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, in that Coolray Gambler Motorsports and Young Gun Creations car with Steven Spee's race engines on the inside. And it looks like he's going to put down what looks to be a 15.92. Good enough for third fastest. You got Steven Spees with a 15.85, Austin McGlone 15.9 flat, Cody Early 16.03.
Yeah, Steven Spees to the top of the board. That's a really good lap, and really it's probably going to be hard to beat. 18 or 15.85 is a pretty stout time. So curious to see if anybody can beat that.
Absolutely, some good-looking cars out there tonight. Yes, Justin Thompson in the YouTube chat. That is John Foskey, the one, the only. Good to have him in the booth here tonight as you see Chapman pulling off.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the paint schemes. These cars look amazing this year. These are some really good-looking wraps. Brett Carlton, his car looks good. Chapman's. There's a lot of good-looking cars out here.
Absolutely. Another good-looking one, and one of the newer cars, at least for us fans here in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series, Caleb Ramsey in that 13 out of Lafayette, Tennessee. He's got the Warrior race car with Steven Fields Racing engines in there alongside Mud Duck Racing. You got Spartan Transportation, Sweet Victory Apparel, the showroom at Westwoods, Just Blaze Designs. A lot of partners for a great driver. He's putting down a 16.11 first time around. We're also going to get a look here at Tater Williams. Tater Williams, another hot driver, good to have our 2021 champion out there out of Clifty, Kentucky with his Longhorn chassis and Mullins race engines. He's got Coolray, Chip Bangers Racings, Comb Cuts, B&B Custom Baits, among many of his partners. Tater Williams putting down a 15.97.
I was down in the pits earlier tonight, and I talked to Tater. This is one of his worst tracks, what he says.
Really?
He struggled. Yeah, he struggled here last year. I know a little bit, and I'm hoping he made some improvements. Not a good qualifying effort, which is still a good qualifying effort. I'm not going to downgrade him, but he's going to have some work to do in this heat race coming up.
So the heat races, is that kind of like, okay, you put your best foot forward in Houston Guttering time trials, but then it's like, all right, I really got to kind of put it together here now in the heat races. Is that a pretty big deal here for these drivers?
Oh yeah, qualifying is your first shot to get a good starting position, mainly in the heat race. But your heat race is really what decides everything. Where you finish is if you can start in the first heat, just depends on how you qualify throughout the field. If you can win the first heat, that's going to put you on pole, and that's where you want to be. But if you can qualify maybe in the top 10, that's when you're really going to have a good shot to win a heat race and start up front in the top 2 rows.
Let's Looks like we got Joshua Johnson out there in the 117 out of Waynesville, Georgia. Vortex Wraps, BWR, Bottom Feeder Mafia Racing, White Knuckle Setup Shop, and Cary Speedworks with the Kryptonite race car and Durham race engine. Looks like he puts down a 16.03, so fastest time still belongs to Steven Speeds in the number 55 machine. See Joshua wrapping up his run right now. Austin McGlone with the 15.9, still second at the moment as we wait our next driver to hit the track. Looks like at the moment we have 21 drivers entered. We'll see if all 21 get to participate in Houston Guttering time trials. Sometimes we have some late arrivals, but nonetheless, like John said, what's really going to matter if you miss your first opportunity here, you're going to have to prove it then in the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown, or before that, one of these carrier heat races where we'll likely have, looks to be 3 carrier heat races tonight, 8 laps. Looks like we've got the 221 out there of Brett Carlton from Royal Palm Beach, Florida, with the LTX Home Builders, Water Experts, and LC Property Investments. He's got that Rocket XR1 chassis with Southern style race engines as his engine builder. Also out there, we talked about him earlier, he's beloved by all, Andy Piercefield in that 75 machine out of Ball Ground, Georgia, with Coolray and Extreme eSpeed TV on there with master-built Comet engines. Andy Piercefield putting out a 16.16. And it looks like 221 of Brett Carlton put down a 15.97. Good enough for 5th as we look to see Jacob Lassiter roll out on the track now in that 51 machine out of Dresden, Tennessee. He's got the Hot Lap Heroes Racing 789 designs, the Sud Shop with his Rayburn race car, custom race engines.
Sharp looking ride for Lassiter. It's the first time I've seen it. I really like that car.
Yeah, that's kind of been the fun part of kind of having a new year is all these, really I think all these guys have some sort of different variation. So as much as they work on, putting a good product in the rig, the outside of it looks important too. And I'm liking some of these schemes. You got a guy like Zach Chapman always trying to put on a good look too.
Oh yeah.
Looks like we've got Cody Terry out there as well in the number 25 out of Gastonia, North Carolina. He's got ground-bound calls, Spencer Boyd LLC, and Combs Cuts with his Longhorn chassis. Turning some laps, he put down a 16.34, falls just behind Andy Piercefield. And Lassiter, 16.03, gets him in the top 10, 7th. Just an edge in front of Cody Early and just an edge behind Joshua Johnson, all with 16.03s on the board in Houston Guttering time trials. As it looks like we'll now get the number 41 of Brian Voiles, one of the 2 Voiles out there out of Decatur, Illinois. Trimby and Sun Concrete and his Longhorn chassis with Reunion engines. 49, make that 50 starts actually last week, making his 50th start in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Also out there on the track, the number 28 of Brandon Combs out of Cincinnati, Ohio. His 39th race tonight with the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. He's got Coolray Heating and Air, Chip Bangers Racing, B&B Custom Baits, Bangin' Sets, KMJ Graphics, among many partners rolling with him tonight.
I was going to say, I think this is Brandon Combs' first race of the year. I know he's on a part-time schedule. I didn't think he's on race tonight. I know he's a little sick right now. I think he's getting a little bit better, but maybe he can hold up. And 50 laps is a long time around Volusia, so maybe it won't wear him out too much.
Oftentimes when I'm sick or something, if I get a good distraction, if I'm kind of doing something else that kind of distracts me from that sickness, hopefully he kind of has an MJ flu game-like moment tonight, maybe gets himself a top 5. Heck, why not a win? It's good to see Brandon Combs out there, and he's at least healthy enough for a 9th place run at the moment with the 16.11. Cody Terry still 16.34 as we look for the other Voiles, Colin Voiles, to head out there now in that 1C out of Decatur, Illinois, Building Systems of Illinois, Logitech, Trimby and Sun Concrete, GT Omega Racing Simulators, and that nice Kryptonite chassis and Mullins race engine.
I'm liking the colors on Colin's car also, the blue and the baby blue and the yellow. I really like that.
Yeah, me too. And you know, we saw your car last year, John. And what do you kind of have a go-to scheme? Do you have a throwback scheme, or do you try to change it up every so often? What's kind of the strategy? Because some guys, they like to change it up for every race. A lot of guys, they like to kind of pay an ode to each year and keep it the same.
Usually, my favorite color is red, so I ran a red car here last year, majority of last year. I had a lot of good luck in it. I was depending on that car, I felt like it brought me good luck, and then at the end of the year, I went to the black and purple car, which was my real car's color in real life that I raced. And I just flip-flop between those two, and I also design my own wraps, so it's kind of hard to stick to one. I'm always tweaking on it, so. But I would say red is probably my go-to color.
Yeah. Now, are we going to see you at any point in the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series this season, or is this kind of a year off for you, possibly?
We're going to have to talk to the boss man, Cody, early. We're going to see. I wouldn't mind strapping back in a race or two. It would have to be probably earlier in the season before like the summer swing. I don't want to race at the end of the year and affect any points battles because I know how that is. It's stressful as is, and then having other guys come in that's really fast, and just probably maybe by June, July, if me and Cody can work out a deal, I'll probably hop back in one more time.
I think that'd be fun. I think a lot of the guys would be excited to see that. I imagine a night like tonight is kind of like a little bit of FOMO. While you're at the track with us, you're not in the same spot at the track you usually are, which is in the pits and is in the car. So maybe this is going to make that itch a little more intense for you.
Oh yeah, I'm tempted to go down there and see if anybody has a backup car I can jump in because I'm ready to get on the track now after watching this, and it's just qualifying. We still have all the racing left to do.
Oh my gosh, I know you're right. And speaking of, it looks like we have 5 drivers still to qualify at the moment. It looks like we're waiting on Dylan Perry, Aiden Young, Jesse Isidore, Jordan Van Westen, and Brandon Bender. So we'll see if any of those come through. It looks like we've got D Kenyon 28 chiming in saying, "Good luck this year, boys. Broadcast sounding good." We appreciate it, D Kenyon. We're working on trying to get some things on the back end to get the scoring and results there on your left-hand side. So bear with us. Lucky enough, you got myself and John Foskey. We can at least try and paint that picture for you. But we're excited to have you here on Extreme eSpeed TV. And, as this goes, we've got Houston Guttering Time Trials, which we're in now, followed by the Carrier Heat Races. And then we'll have the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown. Take a quick commercial break, and then obviously come back for the main event. The reason you're all here, it is night number 1 of our action at Volusia Speedway, the Coolray Winternationals. As we get some good scenic views, let's see if we can jump back into the action and find some of these drivers out there.
I was about to say, qualifying isn't over. You still have a couple heavy hitters coming up. You have Dylan Perry and Brandon Bender. Both were really fast here last year. So look for them to shoot to the top of the board.
I agree. It kind of be deflating when you see Dylan Perry still to come, but you've got Aiden Young, number 69 machine out of Dalton, New Hampshire. He's got that Coolray Heaton and Young Gun Creation, Simtrax Broadcasting, and Gambler Motorsports with his capital race car and RPM engine. Looks like Aiden Young puts up the 6th fastest time. He's got a 15.98. Jesse Isidore putting down the 10th fastest time with a 16.04. And speaking of the guy that is probably going to shoot near the top, we've got that defending champion Dylan Perry out there from Ringgold, Georgia, with his Longhorn chassis and Phantom race engine. He's tied for the 2nd most all-time wins in series history. He made his 32nd start last week, so he's making quite the impact quickly, and we'll see when he crosses the line where he ends up on his first lap around. Looks like we've got a 16 flat. See if he can improve upon that. Looks like Dylan's 7th fastest so far, as we see Jordan Van Westen also making some turns out there.
looks like the track has slowed down a little bit. I see a lot of guys running the inside, which last year was the fastest way around here in qualifying. But I think the track slowed down a little bit, so maybe you'll get these guys maybe like top 10. But I think Steven Speeds has wrapped up the pole position.
And that's not always the case, is it? Where we've seen sometimes where it's not best to go first, and some of these later guys benefit from maybe a slicker but quicker track. So it's kind of hard to predict, but maybe this wasn't as surprising at Volusia.
I don't know. Like this track, like I said, is so big. It slicks off pretty fast, especially down there in 3 and 4. Usually 3 and 4, you're running the bottom. 1 and 2, you can do a little slider line, or you can park it on the bottom. But if you're going to run the bottom, you got to park it and keep the car as straight as you can. There's a lot of time to be lost here, but there's also a lot of time to be made here. So it just depends on how you run the track and how good you are and what line you run.
Absolutely. It looks like we're wrapping it up here with the 22 of Brandon Bender. Before we wrap this up, I do have to say, John Foskey, Perry Gaming 74 says, I got a backup car for Foskey. They're tempting you in the chat right now.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could go hop down in it, but maybe later this year. It'd be nice, though.
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to. And what I know Travis has done with John Hine is they've had John actually race, and then like when he's able to catch his breath, he'll chime in and actually broadcast live. So, hey, crazier things have been done. It'd be fun to try that sometime.
Oh, yeah. I'm stressed out enough racing, and I'm kind of stressed now because this is my first time broadcasting, so I don't think that'd be a good idea. Maybe with some practice, I could make it work, but...
Oh, we're here. And on a normal night, you get Travis back in the booth, and we got kind of a 3-man setup going. I think it's going to be a fun season if we can get you popping in for summer. A lot of these, as Brandon Bender looks like he wraps up his with a 16.06, good enough for 13th fastest. But like my colleague John said, Steven Spees, fastest time. He hit the track early, and he kind of made a name for himself along with Austin McGlone. It's Steven Spees, Austin McGlone, Zach Chapman, Tater Williams, and Brett Carlton, your fastest in Houston guttering time trials. So with that, we'll throw the graphic up and get you set for Carrier Heat Race number 1. And it looks like up front you're going to have Steven Spees side by side with Tater Williams. Behind them, Dylan Perry and Cody Early. Third row of Brandon Bender and Caleb Ramsey with Tyler Bowman 7th. So we've got some speed up front. I'm excited. I'd like to see Steven Spees maybe hold on to this good momentum he's got, but with Tater next to you, especially on that high line, it's going to be a challenge. But like you said, this isn't necessarily Tater's favorite track, so this is going to be kind of a learning experience for us as much as it is for him right now.
Oh, yeah, and this is Heat 1, so the winner of this will be on the pole of tonight's feature. So this is really important, especially for guys like Dylan Perry and you got Steven Spees, Tater Williams, Brandon Bender, like guys like that. All of them really want to be up front. So you got 8 laps to get it done. Be smart and be patient, and we're going to see how it turns out.
Absolutely. Just waiting for the pace truck to come off. Once again, Steven Spees, Tater Williams side by side. Carrier Heat Race number 1. Lights are off on the pace truck, and I just got word in my ear that Travis may be joining us in the next half hour or so, possibly by the time our feature comes about. So I think he was itching to get back too, and I think he's a little jealous for calling some pretty good action to start our week off. Pace truck still on the track. When he pulls out, the drivers will speed up, and we're going to hit the ground running from Volusia. Pace truck is off, and we are green for Carrier Heat Race number 1. It's Steven Spees on the inside. A good start for him against a very formidable opponent in Tater Williams, and they are not giving each other an inch at the moment.
Side by side, off in 3 and 4. It looks like the high side's going to be the place to be right now. Steven Speed's holding good on the bottom, though. There's a lot of speed down there still. He's just got to hit his marks.
Absolutely, and it's really hard because what I've kind of picked up on lately is Tater Williams, when he's got that high side, if it's working for him, he's going to hold it all night. And right now, he's got the slight edge, but still plenty of time to go to carry heat race number 1.
He got in the slick a little bit there. The car stepped out on him. If he can fall in behind Perry here, you're going to see him get a single file. Maybe just run where they are, don't push anything, try to get a good starting spot. But Dylan Perry's in second, and if anybody knows anything about Dylan Perry, you do not want him behind you, and I know that for a fact. So Tater better watch out, and Steven Speeds is right there on Perry.
Yeah, and Speeds, even finishing third, I think that's a good goal to have. When you're playing against Williams and Perry, it's going to be a challenge, absolutely. So if anything, this could be a good learning experience in carry heat race number 1. They are really touching that outside wall when they get to certain parts of the track. As you see, Tater, Dylan Perry, Steven Speeds, your top 3, as we'll focus in here on Tater.
Tater looking strong right now, as long as he doesn't mess up, holds his line, doesn't let an opening form for Perry. That's the biggest thing. Keep your car under you, keep it straight, don't mess up, and just try to hold him off.
And you're right, something we've seen from Perry so much, especially last season, obviously, as he looks to finally take advantage there, is he just kind of waits for his opponent to slip up. But Tater, he's not giving up just yet.
I told you, Tater, he's got to calm down a little bit. Oh, it's fly job right here. Not going to clear it. Perry goes high for him. Clean racing.
Very good racing right there. Right, that might be the white flag, so we might be coming up on the checker right here. And look at that, Dylan Perry up 2 spots from where he started. Tater finishing where he kind of was. So it's Perry, Williams, Speeds, your top 3 as we gear up now for carry heat race number 2. Following up carrier heat race number 1 will be carrier heat race number 2, Austin McGlone, side by side with Brett Carlton. Behind them, Joshua Johnson and Jesse Isidore. Third row of Colin Voiles and Andy Piercefield with Cody Terry rounding out the rear. So what do you think of that there, John Foskey? First carrier heat race, track still changing with each and every lap from all these cars, but no surprise there, Dylan Perry, just the master of kind of capitalizing on any weakness he sees.
Oh, yeah. That was a really good race. Tater was trying. I give him that. But everybody knows Perry's going to be hard to beat, whether it's a heat race or a feature. Tater just needs to calm down a little bit in the driver's seat. I'm sure he'll bounce back in this feature. He's still got a good starting spot. He'll be starting in the top maybe 6 or 8, I think. I'm not really sure. But another thing to look out for is who finishes up front this heat race, because that's the people that Tater has to race around to get to the front. So, and there's some stout guys in this heat race as well, so it should be another good race.
Absolutely, and by my math, this might be 2 of 3, possibly 4, but we are guaranteed 3 carrier heat races. And Austin McGlone, haven't had time to talk much about him yet tonight, but if he races the way he did last week, I think he's going to get plenty of airtime on this broadcast as the lights on the truck look to be out. So he'll pull off here in just a moment, and we'll be going green.
I've seen some of these other guys last year. I'm curious to see what Jesse Isidore can do. I've never seen him race, so I'm going to tune in and watch him right quick and see how he does.
Yeah, you and me both as we get the green flag for carrier heat race number 2. Austin McGlone forced to take that low line right now. You've got Brett Carlton on the outside, and pretty clean racing as we're halfway through lap number 1.
I told you, Brett's fast. He's been putting in the effort, and you're seeing it now, holding off Austin McGlone, one of the fastest guys in the league. If Brett can hold his own right here, this is going to be a good finish and a good race.
Absolutely, and this is kind of a different Brett. It looks like Brett kind of put work in the weight room this offseason. Austin McGlone may have taken that away if this was October or really the same time last year, but man, he is neck and neck right there. He's not giving him an inch.
They side by side. There's a lot of speed on the bottom. McGlone's taking advantage of it, but Brett has preferred line right now. That top is really fast. As they're still side by side heading off in 1 and 2. McGlone's not going to make a mistake. It's rare that he makes a mistake, so Brett's just got to hold his own right here as he moves up behind him.
Absolutely, kind of takes it behind him. You see Jesse Isidori, a guy we're both trying to learn a lot about this season, and don't get it twisted. He's not giving it an inch either. He's kind of pulling the Dylan Perry mindset, where it's, hey, they make a mistake, I'm going to capitalize.
I was about to say he's there. All it takes is one mistake, man, and it's over. So McGlone now has to turn his attention to the guy behind him, Mr. Jesse. Pretty good race. I don't think there's really going to be much passing here. I think they're content for where they're at, but who knows? Still have, I think, 2 laps to go. So
yeah, and just seeing right there, Brett Carlton, just an amazing display of not only a little bit of defensive driving, but give him credit. He's leading for a reason. He's just doing so well up front there, and I'd like to see him kind of take this away. I know you never want to show favoritism in the booth, but I'd like to see him do it. He's going to have to fend off, as you see. Is that the white flag?
White flag. Brett looking really stout right now.
Just hit his marks and just a couple of turns away.
He's playing the safe right here, parking on the bottom. That's smart.
Smart thing to do is we see Brett Carlton take Carrier Heat Race number 2.
That was a good race.
That was Carlton, McGlone, Isidori, your top 3, as we now prepare for Carrier Heat Race number 3. All right, and starting up top, it'll be Zach Chapman, side by side with Aiden Young. Behind them, Jacob Lassiter and Bobby Rafferty. Behind them, Brandon Combs and Brian Boyles, with Jordan Van Westen rounding out the rear. And man, I just first heat race into the second one, into this one, it feels like it's just getting more and more entertaining. That track is clearly darker than it was, and as the sun went down, it's already looking different in a matter of half an hour.
Oh yeah, this track changes a lot, and down here in Florida, the temps are really high. Not sure about the humidity tonight, but that will play a huge role in this, how the track turns out. But I think there's a lot of heat in the air, and it's going to slick off really fast, and it's slicking off. You see the whole middle groove. Still a little bit left on the bottom, but still got a lot on the high side too, so it should be some good side-by-side racing like we've been seeing.
So you said you kind of had some speed there in that last Carrier Heat race on the bottom. Do you think that holds up through the last chance Showdown? Do you think that holds up all night? I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, I would imagine.
The bottom should still be there. I know last year, you seen Aiden Young, actually. He's starting on the outside first row here and starting in second. He actually won the race, and on the bottom, I think, passed me on the bottom with a couple laps to go. So the bottom's going to be there. It's just being patient and letting that top burn in a little bit more. Get that cushion away. The marbles up there, the dark stuff you see, that's grip and speed. If you put your left or right rear in that, you shoot off the corner. But as soon as that moves up the track a little bit, the whole track will be fast.
Man, loving the insight here in the booth from John Foskey as we go green. Carrier Heat Race number 3, Zach Chapman, great start right now, but you got to look at Jacob Lassiter. He's taking it back, and he might just get it after a couple more laps if he keeps making plays like that.
Him and Brandon Collins, they're digging on the bottom, making it work. 3 wide for third.
That's right, 3 wide for third. You've got Lassiter trying to chase down Chapman. Carrier Heat Race number 3. Not the end of the world, but definitely a good momentum swing. If you can have a good finish, maybe even take a lap up. You see Brandon Combs, Rafferty, Lassiter all up one spot from where it began. Chapman first and trying to keep it that way.
Lassiter's still there, though. All it takes is one mistake, like I've been saying. And the damage you see on Chapman's car, that will hurt you. It probably won't hurt you right now because the track has a lot of speed in it, but come feature time, your key, or one of my goals is to keep your car straight. Because any damage is going to scrub off a lot of speed. Lassiter is trying, though. He's making the bottom work. Coming around for the white flag. Looks like we have a 4-car battle right here. This could get interesting. 1 lap to go. 2 laps ago. This might be a photo finish right here. Laster, he might have the edge. Oh, here we go.
Beautiful finish right there, as you see. An amazing final moment there for Carrier Heat Race number 3. Appreciate John Foskey jumping in for me there, as we are now headed to the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown.
Just like Laster got him at the line. That was a really good race.
Man, so after some really thrilling Carrier Heat races, we're going to have Tyler Bowman up top, side by side with the man, Andy Piercefield, behind them. Second row of Brandon Combs and Brandon Bender. A little Brandon on Brandon action. The Voiles men in their own row behind that, Brian and Colin. Then you have Cody Terry, Caleb Ramsey, and Jordan Van Westen rounding out the rear in 9th. So, man, this really could be a good confidence booster for, maybe whoever finishes, I'd say, in the top 3 here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, top 3, if you can come out here with a top 3, it's not as good as winning or finish top 3 in a heat race. You're still going to be far back, but it gives you some confidence. This is a second chance to get more seat time in your car. Some of these guys might have struggled or found something they were doing wrong. This gives them a practice session to try to figure out what they can improve on for this feature coming up.
Absolutely. As we now, on the Extreme eSpeed TV broadcast, have our leaders on the left side with the lap count showing. So excited to have this up for you just in time for the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown. And of course, after this, it'll be a commercial break, and then we will get you to the main event, our 50-lap feature on night number 1 of 3. It's Adam Johnson joined by John Foskey. So 3 heats complete, and we are now getting set for that Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown.
I know we're not supposed to pick favorites, but I'm really hoping Andy can have a good run right here. I know he's put in a lot of work, and I would love to see him get a win right here.
Absolutely. I think he started up top at the same time last week, as they are green in the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown. Andy Piercefield just on the outside of Tyler Bowman. And Piercefield, if he wants it, he might be able to take it, as you see Brandon Combs making a move right now.
Combs digging on the bottom, Bender's there in the middle. Andy's kind of getting the shuffling out. He needs to get down a little bit. I think he'll be able to do it right here behind Bender.
I'm liking what I'm seeing there from Bowman, a guy that's new to the league this season, but really just kind of doing his thing, and then he's holding that top line right now. Ooh, a little bit too low maybe for Brandon Combs. Nonetheless, he's still holding on. I think he's in a good position.
It looked like he sheared a tire in 3 and 4, and what I mean by that is you go off in the corner, you're carrying so much speed. If you don't pitch the car at the right angle, it just shoves the front end, and I think he's having a little problem with that. I think he's got to figure it out now as he moves to the top line. But Combs is digging. Tyler's holding his own, though.
He absolutely is digging right now. And Combs, I mean, it is the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown. He's trying to show out right now, and he's going to have to find a way to get past Tyler Bowman, who's putting down some seriously nice laps as we approach now 8 laps to go in the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown.
I'm excited to see when this top burns off later on in the feature. I mean, we have 50 laps. So what you're seeing now is not going to be the case in the feature. You'll see guys probably running where Combs just did, coming out of 4. You'll see guys in the middle and some guys doing the slider line. So the track should be really racy tonight. It's shaping up to be a good night.
So if you're one of the guys who you performed well in the Carrier Heat races, and let's say you're not in this Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown, speaking from experience, are you still watching this pretty closely, saying, man, how is the track acting right now? Are you still pretty engaged even if you're not racing in this one?
Yeah, you always want to be looking at lap times, and watching the track is your biggest thing. Like these guys, they don't get a warm up, or at least they didn't last year. I'm not sure of the rules. As you see Combs getting the wall right there on the front straightaway. But your biggest thing, if you're in the pits right now, you done made it into the show, is just watch the track. see what it's doing, see where guys are running, see where the grip is, and get ready for the feature.
Well, right now we're watching Tyler Bowman kind of put on a clinic as the rest of the guys are just battling for second. It is good to see Brandon Bender up 2 spots from where he started, Caleb Ramsey up 3 spots from where he started, but all of them are behind Tyler Bowman, and Brandon Combs trying his best to kind of hold on, but it really is a 3-way battle for second as we just have 3 laps to go.
Bowman is pulling away. This is a tight battle for second. Andy's getting back up there. You see Bowman on the bottom. He's digging on the bottom. Looks good. Bender hitting his marks. It seems he's gotten that car up under him now. It's not really pushing anymore, so still a good battle, though.
Yeah, kind of a good precursor from what we're going to see tonight. I think those guys know they might not have enough to catch Bowman, but now just try and figure out this track. A track that's inevitably going to change between now and lap number 1 even as the white flag is out. Assuming he hits his marks, this should be a great showing from Tyler Bowman.
Looks like still learning names. Ramsey digging on the bottom. He's going to get past Combs here. Maybe he clears him.
Yes, sir. So looks like final results, unofficial results, but Bowman, Bender, Ramsey, your top 3, followed by Combs, Piercefield, Voiles, Van Weston, and Terry. So a thrilling beginning of the night here at Volusia Speedway Park. It's only going to get better, so settle in here on Extreme eSpeed TV. The guys are going to get warmed up, set up. We'll get you to a commercial break, followed by an anthem. And once again, we appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned. The best is still yet to come here on Extreme eSpeed TV.
People want to have a one-stop shop. They need us for now all these different services, not just the heating and air side.
When things are going wrong, you want the company that's going to be able to get things done as fast as possible for you.
Today, we're going to be in over 600 homes. What the customers can count on is we're going to send a competent person to your home with a vehicle that's stocked and prepared. We're going to do what's right.
Right now, we're waiving our $79 service fee with any Coolray, Brightbox, or Mr. Plumber service.
Trucking in Mohawk, Tennessee is family owned and operated, and their main goal is to always please their customers and deliver their freight in a timely manner. If you need it hauled and you're in East Tennessee, the number you need is 423-393-4229. That's 423-393-4229. Dyer Trucking's also on Facebook. Pick up the phone and give Brad and his family a call today. Dyer Trucking. If you need it, they can get it. Find them on Facebook.
rose from humble beginnings in the Valley of the Sun. A sprint car racer saw the need for racing shirts. And now, the vision of Carl Korbacher has resulted in Arizona Sport Shirts helping racers across America spread their message. For the best custom designed shirts, hoodies, caps, koozies, and much more, go to ArizonaSportShirts.com. Be part of history.
We take many precautions to stay protected. Online protection requires the same amount of precaution. Cybercrime is a $6 trillion industry. Roughly 158 people fall victim to this type of crime every second, and a business will be compromised every 11 seconds. In the last 3 years alone, the number of malicious websites has increased by 130%. Bottom line, you need protection from someone you trust. Call Computer Pros for protection plans as low as $4 a month.
And welcome back, everybody, to Volusia Speedway Park. At this time, we would please ask that you would join us for our national anthem. Thank you, and welcome back, everybody, to Volusia Speedway Park in beautiful Barbersville, Florida, for night number 1 of Coolray Winternationals. A 50-lap feature awaits, but for the moment, as we have now approached 2.5 minutes until the grid is set and the green flag drops, we want to kind of provide a little bit of our predictions, what we think might happen tonight. Now, I'll go first, John. Don't want to put you on the spot. Give you a chance to maybe think about who your guy will be tonight, or guys. But I'm looking at, usually I go with the sure things I know. But what I do know is Tater. This isn't Tater's favorite track. Austin McGlone, he's running well. Dylan Perry, I feel like he has us right where we want us, where he'll be starting what looks to be, in the middle of the pack, and he'll work his way up. But I'm gonna say, just off of what I saw, I'm gonna look at maybe a top 5 from Jesse Isidore. But I also want to see Tyler Bowman. Can he keep that up with a top 3? Maybe even a win. It wouldn't shock me at this point, just looking at the way that he ran so well in Carrier Heat Race number 3. What are you feeling?
Oh yeah, Tyler Bowman was fast. I've seen that, so he has a good shot in this feature. But my pick, we all know Perry, McGlone, Tater, Lassiter, Speeds. We all know they're fast, and we also know this guy's fast, but he's put in a lot of time. I talked about him earlier. But Mr. Brett Carlton, I feel like he's going to have a really good run tonight, and hoping he can park it in victory lane tonight and keep that momentum. I know he finished 3rd last week, almost had 2nd. He was on Perry there at the end, but looking a lot out of Brett tonight.
I would agree, and one thing that really we haven't even mentioned, just because it literally never came up, but there just weren't any cautions, whether it be in the Carrier Heat Races or the Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown. Is this a track where there's just maybe a little more space for the guys, or is it just, just so happened that we got lucky. I know we had a few cautions last week, but it doesn't feel like this was a track that was all too dangerous. Now, it might change when we get the full field out there, but I'm curious to hear what your thoughts might be from that perspective.
As a driver, you wanted to go green the whole way. I know last year we had a couple cautions there, and we raced here 3 times last year, and I was leading 2 or 3 of the nights when we kept having cautions. So as a driver, you do not want to see that. But I don't know. It just depends how the start goes. All your cautions are going to come from restarts, and maybe like 2 or 3 laps after that. But once everybody gets spaced out and gets in a rhythm and feel the track out, because a lot of these guys since Heat 1 hasn't been on the racetrack, and it's changed a lot. So it's just got to be patient and just give others around you a lot of room and just race clean.
Well said, well said. And Winter Nationals night number 1. Let's take a look at number 1. Dylan Perry will be starting things off side by side with Brett Carlton. Behind them, we've got Jacob Laster and Tater Williams. 3rd row, Austin McGlone and Zach Chapman. 4th row, Steven Spees and Jesse Isidore. 5th row, Aiden Young and Cody Early. 6th row, Joshua Johnson and Bobby Rafferty. Of course, then we've got Tyler Bowman and Brandon Bender, Caleb Ramsey, Brandon Combs, Andy Piercefield and Brian Voiles, Colin Voiles and Jordan Van Westen, with Cody Terry rounding out the rear as the drivers hit the track and get set to go green.
This is about to be a really good race, I can tell it. I mean, you have a lot of guys from last year really fast. You have Mr. Jesse Isidore out there, Cody Early. This is about to be a really good race here.
Yeah, these guys, not much damage in kind of the earlier events, so everyone's got a good car right now. We expect some good racing.
Oh, yeah, and you also see Aiden Young back there. He will sneak up and bite you if you're not careful. I know last year he came from 10th place or whatever it was and was running the bottom. Nobody else was running the bottom, and he made it work. So maybe he can do repeat from last year and have him another good run.
So Dylan Perry and Brett Carlton will lead us to green at Volusia, and we are underway. Winter Nationals 2023 is green.
And by the sound of it, that is not Adam Johnson's voice. This is Adam Johnson's voice. We are happy to have Travis Piercefield back in the booth alongside John Foskey. Lap number 1 complete, and ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a great night of racing.
Dylan Perry, Carlton still side by side. You got Lassiter and Williams as the front 2 rows are stacked. Austin McGlone watches on. And John, as we go green here, if you're not up there battling for the lead, what are you trying to do here as you've got 47 laps to go?
Save your car. That's the biggest thing, is save your car. Try to keep it out the wall. Try not to put any damage on it. This track's going to get really slick, and if you have just a slight quarter panel bend, it's going to scrub off with a lot of speed, a lot more than you think. So right now, just ride, get in the position you want to be in, and save your car till about maybe 20 laps to go and start making moves.
So they are still side by side up the front 2 rows. Austin McGlone still watching on from that 5th spot. Zach Chapman up there as well, as he'll move up into that 6th spot. But he has Isidore to his inside. Isidore was one of those rookies that had a great start last week to kick off the season at Charlotte. And Adam, they're 4 wide coming out of 4.
4 wide coming out of 4. Perry, really earlier than I kind of expected, already in the top spot. We've got Carlton, though. That's the guy that we've been told to watch, and he's working so far. But I am going to be a little surprised to see Bowman kind of falling back there. Be very curious to see if he's able to bounce back and already coming up on 20% of the way done with this race. This is a quick one, John, and I know that you don't want to be too aggressive early, but you also don't want to wait before it's too late.
Yeah, like I said, maybe like 20 laps to go. If you're some of the guys out the top 5, you may want to push now, but if you're in the top 5, just be patient. That's the biggest thing. You see these guys, they're racing hard right now, trying to give each other room, and you're going to see that a lot. But maybe 15 laps to go, it's going to come to some beating and banging, I would assume, for the top spot.
So that's Joshua Johnson pulling into the pits there off of turn number 4. He'll go into that work area as the front 7 are now nose to tail. John, I wanted to ask you, since you're one of the drivers out there in those in that forum, Brett Carlton, someone Adam and I were talking about earlier today, he came on late last year, and really his start these first 2 nights, he's really here to play this season.
I'm telling you, man, he's looking really stout right now. Last year, he had a lot of bad luck. He had a fast car, he just had a lot of bad luck. I think you put that behind him. You put in the work over the off season, and it's showing right now.
You've got Austin McGlone right there. McGlone, tough caution last week that really took him back. I think this could be a real good confidence booster. This is kind of a really difficult week where you don't want to get too high after race number 1 and think, okay, like I've got the rest of the week complete. But you also, there is something to be said about having a rough start. That can be kind of tough to get you through. That puts a little more pressure on the next 2 days. So I think this early success from guys like Perry and McGlone, and like you said, Carlton, this could do wonders for these next 2 nights, even if this is their best finish of the night.
I was about to say, keep in mind, this is a double points race, so this is a lot of points on the line the next 3 nights. I think they get like 1 drop race, which means they'll drop at their worst finish, so that won't count against them. But you need to get all the points you can this week. This is a huge week of the year. And last year, me and Perry and Aiden, we all came out on top. I can't remember what happened with Perry, but the point is you need to get up front, get you some points, and get ready for the rest of the year.
As they get nose to tail out front, we've got some great battles throughout. We watched Steven Spees alongside his Gambler Motorsports teammate Aiden Young, and Aiden's moved up into that 8th spot and is now separated from Spees. We also look back in the pack. Tyler Bowman leads a pack of cars that are all over each other. You see Andy Piercefield in there as well, along with Brandon Combs. But really 16 laps green to start this one that kicks off Winter Nationals. And, John, this is something that we saw last week as well. A lot of green flag laps and some long green flag runs that we didn't necessarily see last season.
Yeah, I said earlier, if you're a driver, this is a good thing. You do not want to see cautions. Maybe with Perry out here in front, you might want a caution because we all know how he is. But right now, this is good for everybody. They're getting their laps in. They're filling out their car. If we do have a late race caution, they already know what their car is capable of and where they want to go. So right now, it's just push hard. Brett's trying to keep up with Perry. He's not too far behind, still in striking distance, but you see McGlone and Tater out there with him.
And John, you also mentioned the fact that, if you're a driver, you like as many green flag laps, as you can get possibly. But when you're doing a 50 lap, let's say we get, 35, maybe 40 laps completely green, that could be kind of exhausting, can it?
Oh, yeah. Usually about 50 laps. I mean, it takes a toll on you. It might not look like it, but it does. Mainly mentally, because you're having to look around you, keeping up with the track, hitting your marks. You got these fast guys around you trying to make a move. Like, it's stressful. I've been in those shoes, and I know how it is, but you just got to keep your composure.
So far, Perry up top, holding strong right now, 21 laps in. Carlton not giving an inch at any moment with Tater Williams, a guy we haven't talked too much about. I mean, this is a series champion of days past, so Tater Williams, a top 3 would be great for him, but it looks like the way he's battling with Carlton, I think he wants to get a little bit closer to Perry.
So we are night number 1 of Winter Nationals here at Volusia Speedway Park down in Florida. It is the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series as we inch closer to the halfway mark here on night number 1. It is our 50-lap feature. I'm Travis Piercefield, joined as always by Adam Johnson, and we have our in-race reporter tonight, John Foskey, as it's Dylan Perry out front. Next 4 tight here as Tater Williams continues to stalk Brett Carlton. But plenty of action throughout the field here on night number 1 as we reach halfway.
Brett Carlton, the last 2 laps was the fastest car on the racetrack. He's broke away from Tater a little bit. He's getting that momentum built up. We got lap traffic coming up, so Brett needs to pounce right now before Perry gets through this lap traffic.
Lap traffic at this point, this could also create cautions. I don't believe in the announcer's jinx, but all season, we saw it last year and this one even last week, these drivers have been pretty good about not only getting past the lap traffic, but I will say the lap traffic's been pretty good about staying out of the way. You don't necessarily want to be the storyline on either side of it, but it does play an effect. And John, with your previous experience, lapping traffic, is there a strategy? Do you kind of approach them with caution in a sense?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. The last 2 races we had here last year, I was in lap traffic and I screwed it up. I put myself in bad positions, so probably not the best guy to take advice from, but if I were to replay that and had another chance, I would have been a lot more patient. So patience is key.
That's a lot like do as I say, not as I do type of moment right there. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Also, a point of note, Joshua Johnson has re-entered the track. He's 2 laps down in 20th. Cody Early is currently in the work area. As Dylan Perry goes around that Josh Johnson machine, he now moves on to Jordan Van Westen, who is the last car on the lead lap. And as you can see, Carlton continues to cut into that lead. It's just about 1.1 seconds there that lap by as he continues to try to track down and reel in that P7 machine.
Perry's got to stay pushing. If we don't have the caution, he's got to get through this lap traffic. I mean, they're spread out more than usual. If he can just pick one off at a time and keep his gap, he should be pretty good.
John, being in a lot of races like this, I mean, as we see, wow, some real close action going on. A lot of close battling taking place right now. But, if you had to make a bet right now, there's still plenty of racing to go. We've got a lot of races left. But do you think we even see a caution tonight? You see, first of the night. I guess that's an easy answer.
Just about to stack up the field. Blowing right behind him.
Showing you the Coolray instant replay. Looks like Zach Chapman kind of got turned there by the 79. Hit the wall, but doesn't look like the worst kind of damage. And we're going to get our first break in the action with about 18-19 to go.
If you're 4th, 5th, 6th in this situation, this is good for you. It gives you another chance. The track's done cleaned up a lot. You kind of know where you want to be. I've seen Perry, he was running the bottom and the top. I've seen Brett running the slaughter line. McGlone and Tater searching. Anything you found in those 30 laps we just did, 32 laps, this is the time to put it in effect.
So we made it past halfway before our first caution of the night as Zach Chapman pulls into that work area. And now, looking at how they were running, John, obviously Tater and Carlton were battling for that second position, but now they'll reel in that Perry machine here on this restart. If you're looking to attack, and you've had many of battles last year with Dylan, what's the best way to attack and have a chance at getting by him here with 19 laps to go?
You have to time this restart right. All the restarts are on the leaders in this series, and majority of races or series do this, which is good. Because it gives the leader an opportunity to capitalize. I mean, he got the top spot, so he deserves to start the race. Usually they'll fire over there between the Dirt Vision sign and the Hoosier sign. So Brett has an idea of where Perry would fire. It's just Brett has to be timed and ready to go when he goes. Because if not, Perry's going to take away.
Looking through the field, we have some movers. Brandon Bender and Andy Piercefield are our hard chargers at this point, both up 5 spots. So they've slowly moved their way up through the field. And we saw battles at them throughout the field. So there's definitely plenty of opportunity to get by guys and move up.
Yeah, and I'd be a little curious hearing from John's side. You kind of know a handful of these guys pretty well, and you've raced against all of them. Are there any guys who are maybe in the middle of the pack that you're a little shocked to see they haven't made any moves? It's been a little bit difficult to pass as we're about to go back to green here. But, John, anybody you're looking to kind of see some movement from?
Maybe Brandon Bender back there. He's looking pretty stout. Tyler Bowman's up here from the B main. He's running inside the top 10, I think, or close to the top 10. So them guys should be coming up through here. They still have a lot of time. 20 laps or 18 laps is a long time. So, like I've been saying, just be patient.
As we go back to green, Dylan Perry is able to hold on to that lead as the control car. But they are side by side behind them as Carlton's able to break away from Williams now as they're nose to tail down the backstretch. The 221 now trying to chase down Dylan Perry as that lead that was over a second is now less than half a second as we're green with 16 laps to go.
If we're looking for a podium finish right now, I mean, Perry, Carlton, and Williams, clearly the guys who have been best all night, but I think Austin McGlone would like to share a little bit of that podium. So, if you're Tater or Brett Carlton right now, you've still got a lot of stiff competition breathing down your neck.
And if you notice, they're all running in that shiny black stuff. It's not grip. It's really, really slick. It's almost like ice. You see a lot of them slide up right here. Perry's parking on the bottom, keeping his left side in that traction. That holds you down there. That'll give you a boost off the corner, gives you grip. But a lot of these guys run in the slick, and it takes a lot of throttle control to do that, especially side by side with somebody.
And Dylan Perry has to love this, as Tater Williams has now stuck his nose under Carlton. That's a battle for second, as that lead now has grown to 0.6 of a second with 13 laps to go, as the whole front pack of cars moves to that outside line now, at least through 1 and 2. You have Carlton using a higher line in 3 and 4 there, John.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. It looks like he needs to slide up just a little bit more, get his right rear in that traction. He does it good right there, and you'll see him kind of pull away from Tater right here as he does. He just needs to slide up a little bit more, but I think Perry's so smooth, and we all know this. He doesn't make a mistake, so Brett needs to calm down, hit his marks, and close the gap, and be ready to pounce here at the end with 10 to go.
Austin McGlone has taken advantage of this restart now as he works to the inside of Tater Williams. He's been in the top 5 all night long after starting 5th there, as he now tries to battle for that 3rd spot, but he has Jacob Lassiter all over the back of him.
Yeah, and he got McGlone taking that bottom line, trying to make it work. And, John and I talked a lot earlier in the broadcast about how that bottom line, man, that was quick. That was the preferred one if you could get it with the speed it had. But right now, you're not gaining much traction on that bottom line.
No, the track's about even. I've been looking at lap times here the past couple laps. Perry's running the bottom, and he's turning almost the exact same lap time as Brett on the top. But the thing with Brett, he's running the tacky. He's got more control of his car. Perry's in the slick. He's having to back off the throttle, be more smooth, more chance of a mistake, but you really don't see out of Dylan Perry. My bad.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see is it going to take a caution for any of those top 4 to change that position, or do we have McGlone? Does he have enough in the tank that he can maybe capitalize on any mistake? But like you said, Tater Williams, this may not be his favorite track, but he's still a darn good driver, and it's hard-pressed to bet on him making a mistake in this type of moment.
Yeah, he's looking really smooth right now. The top 4 and 5, even last year back there, hitting his marks, they all look really smooth.
So the front 5 have broken away from the rest of the field. You have Jesse Isidore leading that second group of cars. That includes Aiden Young, Tyler Bowman, Bobby Rafferty. A tight group there. They've been battling all night long for that second half of the top 10. As you see Aiden Young and the 79 of Bowman side by side, now to the inside of Isidore. Battles throughout the field, but with 5 laps to go, it's still our past champion, Dylan Perry, leading, coming to 4 to go.
He's not pulled away as far as he did last green flag run we had, and Brett is there. So is Tater. Tater's looking underneath Brett right now.
At this point, you got to think Carlton, who's kind of given all he's got to Perry, not able to get to him at least just yet, but with just 3 laps to go, you got to think he's going to be thrilled with the podium finish, a second-place finish at that. So if these guys all hit their marks, we're looking at a pretty sure top 5 at the moment.
When you look at the names there in that top 5, no surprises, and guys that you think will be around all season long, as it's Dylan Perry, last year's champion lead, and Brett Carlton, someone that came on late last year, off to a great start here in 2023, and then of course Tater Williams, a past champion as well, as the white flag waves for the P7 of Dylan Perry.
Tater might get second here.
They battle for second. Tater will fall back into third. Now McGlone will make a move for third. Out of turn number 4, night number 1 of Winternationals goes to Dylan Perry. Carlton second, Williams in third.
Heck of a finish right there. You saw McGlone giving everything he had and Williams giving everything he had, but it stays the way it probably should have. But man, a little bit of drama there on those final turns.
That was a really good race.
Really good, really clean. Adam and I were talking in our production meeting this afternoon, and that was one thing we talked about, especially with a big wide track like Volusia here. We'd seen a lot of really good competition from this series and really been waiting for this opportunity. I know last year we had some, Weed Sport and some of those tougher tracks. It's going to be interesting once we head to Port Royal. in some of those tighter tracks, John. But this big wide track was perfect for these drivers here in this series tonight.
Oh yeah, the track prep crew did a really good job. The track was really good, really racy. You saw a lot of guys. Brett stayed on the top the whole race. You had Dylan Perry on the bottom. You had Brett and Tater and McGlone through the middle. Awesome racetrack.
Well, we will talk to our top 3 finishers. It's Dylan Perry, Brett Carlton, and Tater Williams. We'll throw it down trackside. John, you've got our 3rd place finisher, Tater Williams.
Yes, sir.
Tater, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Looks like you had a pretty strong run. I know we talked earlier in the pits. You didn't really have high expectations for this racetrack. I know you struggled, and you always tell me you struggle here. What could you have did different to maybe get by Brett there at the end?
Probably qualify better and not screw up in my heat race. That's kind of dumb on my part to hit the wall leading with 2 to go. So, but track was pretty locked down. You couldn't really pass. I know I probably made McGlone mad. I was cutting him off a little bit. I could feel him back there, and I was just trying to take the runs as they came to me.
So you look really good. The car looked fast. I've seen you mess up there in the heat race, like you said, but that was a good comeback. Finishing top 3, another podium, coming off a win last week. So really good job in my books.
I appreciate it. It's probably going to set us up pretty good in points. I'm sure Perry's going to be a little closer to us, but that ain't nothing we can't handle coming out of here, and hopefully just run better tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, good job, and congrats on 3rd place.
Appreciate it.
All right, that is John Foskey with Tater Williams, as we now have Travis Piercefield trackside with Brett Carlton.
Hey, Brett, another great run. Adam and I were talking about you in our production meeting this afternoon. You really came on late last year. You've continued it here in 2023. What do you feel the difference has been lately?
I haven't really changed anything. I think really it's just a testament to running with McGlone and Perry and Tater all the time, and that's my benchmark. And so without them, I wouldn't know where I was at. So just trying to run with the guys, and just working, just trying to. I've always felt like I had speed, but I didn't have the consistency. And really, I've worked on the consistency over the off season and just being patient and calming down. And I think that's really what's helped.
Well, it's a great start to your 2023 season. What kind of goals do you have as we look ahead throughout the rest of the season here?
Oh, man, I had huge goals last season, and it just set me up for disappointment. I just want to have some fun and enjoy this deal. It's an honor to be in this Pro Late Model Dirt Series with Cody and what you guys are doing in the booth, and Andy, and I just want to have fun with these guys. This is an awesome group of guys to race with. Every one of these guys is tough and hard to pass, and so it just have fun.
Well, it was a lot of fun for us watching you guys battle for the lead here tonight. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank the ones who pay the bills: Water Experts, LTX Home Builders, LC Property Investments, Southern Style Racing Engines, and the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing this to happen, and my wife for giving me time to do what I love.
Well, great start to your season. We look forward to watching you again tomorrow night, Brett.
Thank you.
That is our 2nd place finisher, Brett Carlton, tonight. We'll now throw it over to Victory Lane, where Adam has our winner, Dylan Perry.
Absolutely, joined alongside defending champion and tonight's winner, Dylan Perry. And Dylan, heck of a show. I know you've been in the league now a full year. That's not common, really, to see a race without any cautions like that. We had just the one, but it didn't seem to affect you at all, did it?
No, but usually I always kind of prepare for on a good 9 as long as everybody's feeling good and we don't have any mess ups. Usually about 2 or 3 cautions, but to not only seeing 1, I was definitely completely okay with that. This, for some reason, me and cautions at this track don't agree too well most of the time, so I was glad to only see 1.
How fun was it? I know he was behind you for the entire, length of the race, but having Brett Carlton back there, we're used to seeing McGlone, we're used to seeing Tater kind of battle with you, but, when you look in your rear view, it's a little bit of a different driver there in Brett Carlton, who we know has put in a ton of time. How fun was kind of battling with him?
Oh, it was a blast. I enjoyed racing side by side with him early in the race. I threw a little close slider on him. didn't have enough speed heading into the corners. I thought I did, and I never heard him get quieter, so I knew it had to be close. But no, I enjoyed it being able to race with him, and I always have fun whenever me and Tater and McGlone race. So I had a blast.
You know, you were one of the last ones tonight to get on for Houston Guttering time trials, and did put up the best time. Didn't really even make much of a statement early on, and admittedly, but it didn't seem to affect you when the green flag and the feature wave. So were you at all surprised with any of how tonight's events went, or is this kind of what you expected at Volusia?
I was a little shocked whenever I was rolled in late and was able to pick up a pretty good time in hot laps. But going out late to qualify here is always it's just always hard to get a good time. And the track held up until it got about halfway through the field, and it just dropped off quick. So I knew I was gonna have my work cut out for me. But this track's evaded me for too long. I'm glad to finally pick up a win at one of my favorite tracks.
Well, it was a great win indeed, and before we let you go, give you a chance to shout out those sponsors.
First and foremost, I've always got to thank Andy. He's been a tremendous help, and I honestly just couldn't do it without him. He's definitely a guy that I'm glad that we're on the same team and we can keep going forward. And then all the guys over at Chip Banger's Racing, they help me stay on top of my game week in and week out, and I couldn't do it without all of them. I'm glad that they're all on. That we're all together on the same team, because I don't know what it would be like without them. Rapid Race Graphics, Stealth Racing Carburetors, Harrison Automotive, Newt's Lawn Care, Phantom Race Engines, Bangin' Sets by CBR, B&B Custom Baits, Combs Cuts, Goat Farm Policy, Dirt Chaser. I'm probably forgetting some, but just everybody that helps me week in and week out. I couldn't do it without them, and I'm glad that they're helping me do what I love to do.
Awesome. Love it. Well, congrats again on the win. Assuming we will talk to you hopefully tomorrow or the night after that, maybe both nights, but nonetheless, get some rest. Congrats on the win, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
So that is our winner here tonight at Winter Nationals night number 1. It's going to be our champion from last year, Dylan Perry, kicking us off as Winter Nationals night number 2 starts tomorrow night. We'll be live here on Extreme eSpeed TV starting at 8:05 p.m. John, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate your insights from the driver perspective, as it was myself, Travis Piercefield, and Adam Johnson as usual. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night from Volusia, and look forward to a great season ahead for the Coolray Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at a dirt track again soon.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.